then we got internet, and now we have on-demand TV, and we have on-demand, and actually social media. You're not just watching it, it's watching you. Let me just say, when I see things on social media where people are basically saying we need to stop AI, we need to basically outlaw AI, that's just, it's a complete waste of time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I even consider that. That's just, it's so ridiculous, it's laughable. It's technology, and it's here, and it's coming, and you can, uh, you know, wring your hands and try to fight it and argue against it, or you can learn about it and how it can benefit you and prepare yourself for the coming world. And there are a lot of negatives to how it's going to impact the world. But let me just give you a little perspective. So, when I was a kid, we always had TV as long as I can remember. My parents, they didn't have television, they had radio only. And in fact, I remember we bought a color TV. We were one of the first people in our neighborhood to have a color TV. I didn't see any difference as a little kid. I was like, I don't get it. I mean, people would come over, oh, look at that, it's amazing. And I'm not sure. Maybe it was because the shows that I watched were still not in color. Because what would happen, the newer programs that would come on, they would have a little banner in living color, in full color. So, I mean, that's how far back. And then, of course, I went through hearing all the problems of television. People are spending too much time in front of their TV. It's rotting their brains. It's terrible. It's awful. It's, all the, ills of society. TV is just like the worst thing in the world. And then we got internet. And now we have on-demand TV, and we have on-demand, and actually social media. You're not just watching it; it's watching you. It's essentially reading your behaviors and predicting what you're going to do. And so it's more scary in that respect, because it knows you better than you know yourself. I mean, there's companies out there with all your data that probably can predict your behaviors better than you can. And now we have AI.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's like the evils of the old technology suddenly don't seem so bad when the new technology comes out. People stopped talking about TV being so bad for you a long time ago. Well,
Mm-hmm.
some of it's back because boomers, the boomers watch their cable news and they're getting, misinformed that way. So,
Yeah. Okay, boomer.
but anyway, just for that historical perspective. But so what is AI? I mean, I think at its basic level, AI is probabilistic algorithms. Okay, so in the past, when you created a computer program, it the logic that you put into it, the inputs that it would read, the prompts, everything you did had to be perfect. Okay. And you had to say basically if A, B, and C and D, then this is the result. Okay. And if you gave it a condition that wasn't accounted for in the code, it just locked up. It didn't know. It would throw an error. It'd be like, I don't know. It doesn't fit any of the options you gave me. Well, with AI, it's able to look at the data, look at the information, and it doesn't need a perfect match. It can say, well, based on everything that I have and everything I know, this is most likely the answer. So it can give you that. That's what's at the start of AI. So when you talk about a language model, you want to if you wanted to hard code someone how to communicate with a human being, I mean, you'd have to figure out every possible way you could ask every possible question. right? Because you're going to use different words. Language is complex. We may say things. I mean, if you want to ask a question, you could use a different combination, like almost an infinite combination of words to ask a question. And it's really the same question. So with the language model, it has to be able to come up with the best guess at what you're asking.
Mm-hmm.
And then it looks at the information available. So, you know, um, yeah, that's it at its core. You have machine learning and you have pattern recognition, and it's not just the asking it questions and getting help. I mean, my car drives itself, and
Mm-hmm.
that's pure AI. At one time, the predictions for what self-driving cars were going to be, there were going to be magnets in the road and sensors on the car so it could sense the magnets and stay in the center of the lane. And then it would communicate with the other cars on the road, to say, where are you? Where in, so that it could react. So it'd almost be like an electronic train. Okay, cars would be linked electronically, they'd communicate. And, I saw dedicated lanes where you had a self driving car, you would get into one of these lanes, you would hook up, and then the car would drive you. That's what they were predicting it would be. I mean, AI was around, but nobody predicted, I think, what AI could become.
Mm-hmm.
So you now have Waymo and these other cars. They have a huge wart on top of the car with all this technology, with lidars or radars. I don't even know what all it's using, trying to drive. And Elon Musk said, AI, man. He goes, we're going to use cameras and AI. That's all we need. We don't need other sensors. It'll do it. Now, there's people that can criticize because one thing Elon Musk does, he's very optimistic. He'll make predictions that by this time we're going to have this. By this time, he pretty much achieves what he's looking for, but the timing is not always there. It's
Yeah.
usually not.
No.
Okay.
I remember whenever Elon Musk was talking about wanting to go to Mars. I think he was the way he was making it sound, we'd be on Mars by now.
Oh yeah. Well, his latest predictions are probably aligning with what will realistically land on the moon again.
Mm-hmm.
He has us going to Mars. So, but so yeah, if there was not AI, there's no way my car. And even if you're not using a chat bot, I mean, search engines are using AI. If you were to say I'm never going to use AI, let's say you're like a vegan of AI, you'd be screwed. You couldn't do anything.
Well, I mean, it's virtually impossible. You punch something into Google, you ask Google a question, it's going to give you an AI driven answer.
And AI is being used in the background of the search engine anyway.
Yeah.
So whether it's an AI answer or AI search results, it's there.